Luana Emiliano starting as setter for Brazil and serving. Martin, first thing, and it's a throwdown.
I watched Florida's match last week against Ohio State, and we saw a lot of attacks to the middle of the court whenever there was a hole between the two blockers.
Isabel Martin, originally from Germany, 6-foot redshirt senior. She's the one I mentioned from UNLV. Goes down the line and long. Bianca Bertolino now to serve out of Argentina, another veteran player and a terrific defender. Passes off the net, they go behind, empowering through the block is Alec Roth, another true freshman.
And that's a big side out for Florida to get Bianca Bertolino of Georgia Tech off the line on only one serve.
I was talking about the three veterans. The other one for Florida is Ellie McKissick. 5th-year libero, one of the best in the game. Over the top. Oh, I wonder if that's going to fall a second time, Holly. It looked like she got a little stutter step.
It did, just couldn't get her feet under her, but Otene didn't like the location of that set, just died a little bit inside. Watch this ball. Dies inside, so she barely gets her feet there, but throws it up and over the block for the kill.
Liv Mogridge, a junior, came from North Carolina. August. She is going to be so much fun to watch today with her athleticism.
She already is fun to watch. What a fantastic athlete, and the energy she brings to the court. We saw her practice today. She was dancing the whole time. Just the positive energy she brings to the court. You can see it on the Florida side.
Trinity Adams came in to serve. Off the block. Great capture by Fitzpatrick. Net violation against the Gators.
Florida trying a little bit too hard in transition defense, catching that net with the block, and Georgia Tech able to tie it up.
At the service line for the Yellow Jackets is their other setter, Eloise Suarez, sophomore.
Jayla August, number 4 for Florida. We talked about her athleticism. Look how high she gets. She is a high jump champion, and it shows when she goes off one foot behind the setter. Got incredible offensive range.
AC Fitzpatrick's serve goes long. Mary Weiss told us it was like Christmas present when AC said she was going to come back home to Florida for her 5th year.
AC Fitzpatrick is special for this Florida team. Not only is she a leader, but she just brings incredible energy every time she's on the court. One of the best servers in the game.
Martin down, and so far every point has traded. Nobody's won consecutive points in this match so far.
When Florida passes well, Taylor Parks does a really nice job isolating her hitter on the left side. As a setter, that's what you want. One hitter against one blocker. Hitter has a big advantage.
Front court setter now for Florida. And they're running the middle. Wow, that's Deandra Pierce for Georgia Tech.
Deandra Pierce is dynamic, and she is quick off the floor. Watch her go from right to left and open up her shoulders so she can get on top of this ball for Georgia Tech.
Sophia Velez, the libero serves. They go back to the middle. It comes off a good pass. Here's McKissick again. First touch on the ball. The block is rock solid.
Leah Harper, number 12, on the right side, comes in with the new setter for Georgia Tech. Look at this flying dig and lift to keep the ball and stay in the play for Georgia Tech. And then Leah Harper sets up a huge block on the right side, and that's why they're running a 6-2 today.
Right, that bigger block. Running behind, and now for Florida, it's Doug. And it's consecutive points for Georgia Tech, first time today.
Bianca Bertolino on the side line on the left side. Look at this transition going high, deep down the line. Beautiful transition swing.
Velez serves again. Keep an eye on Parks, front court setter for Florida. Quick to the pins. There's Florida's block. Super solid, and Amaya Thomas, 6'3", shuts it down.
Amaya Thomas working hard to get out to her right side blocker and close. You see the move in unison, and Amaya Thomas right hand closing that seam, that area between the two blockers.
Several long serves for Florida.
You can tell Florida trying to use the back part of the court with their serve, backing up those passes.
There you see the 6-2 switch, right? We're talking about the other setter comes in. It's Luana Emiliano, and then up front you get her other right side hitter, and that's Larissa Mendez, number 11. Back to Mendez. Block is solid as Thomas is going coast to coast. Over the top, Thomas touches. Roth pushes. The relentlessness of Georgia Tech pays off, 3 in a row.
Well, you see the hitter coverage. Florida doing such a nice job going side to side, blocking the ball, but Georgia Tech, patient in hitter coverage, able to get another swing to win that rally.
Emiliano transferred from Texas Rio Grande Valley this year, highly experienced. That's one of the beautiful digs that you'll see from Velez, and it turns into a point.
Well-placed ball right over the outstretched arms of Alec Roth, the right side blocker for Florida. Look at this ball, good slide under by Velez, and then fantastic touch right over the block.
Head coach Michele Collier talked to us about that right before the game, saying you got to start low because they will throw sharp angles.
I think as a defender, you always want to start low and come under the ball, but yes, you have to be ready for those throwdowns.
There's Michele Collier in her 11th year on the flats. Only behind Shelton Collier in terms of wins at Georgia Tech as head coach. Oh! The power from Georgia Tech on both pins.
Bianca Bertolino shows she's got some versatility. That time swinging from the right side, had a big seam. Blockers were not closed together and able to score.
Yeah, Bertolino has 4 kills on 6 swings already, only 1 attack error. And that serve, curving just a little bit too wide as Florida keeps the lead at 3. Ellie McKissick goes to the deep court. Sent outside in the reach. Holly just over the block.
Tamara Otene knew exactly where she wanted to go on this ball. Watch her get her feet to this ball. She's going deep corner. She knows that's available, and she puts it there. Fantastic offensive control by Otene of Georgia Tech.
Otene had a couple of big plays at the end of that match in the NCAA tournament last year. Roth announcing herself. Solid block, but facing the wrong way. They get used.
Florida is there. They're making nice block moves, but getting tooled out of bounds. You want to turn. Georgia Tech has played spectacular defense, keeping the ball off the floor, and Florida's been working hard at the net, just unable to get those blocks to fall.
Trying to cut it too sharp is Roth.
Alec Roth, number 25 in blue, is a freshman who's never trained on the right side. She's a middle attacker and has had to fill the shoes of Kennedy Martin. So she's in a new position, just learning in a big pressure situation.
Yeah, it's part of that reconfiguration that Mary Wise had to do. Meanwhile, the middles firing on all cylinders for Georgia Tech.
And Georgia Tech has 3 incredible pins. We talk about them a lot, but they've got 2 incredible middles. You see Deandra Pierce go quick to that deep corner.
Long back set. This time Roth has enough room to get up and over and stop the 11-3 Yellow Jacket run.
And I like that location from Taylor Parks to Alec Roth, giving her a little bit more room to swing down that line.
And when you say giving her more room, what do you mean?
Just pushing that ball out a little bit wider.
Pass is on the money. Set looks like a miscommunication, so they didn't get a full swing. And Florida does it to themselves as the ball goes wide.
AC Fitzpatrick trying to go sharp inside the block and just doesn't get on top of it enough.
We have just seen again the other setter come in for Georgia Tech as part of that two-setter offense, 6-2. Suarez serving, Mendez on the right, number 12 for Georgia Tech. Beautiful big reach, like a high jump.
Jayla Auguste, so dynamic. Watch her again, off one foot. We talked about her high jump experience, and that really pays off. Her form, her footwork, high contact point, throwing it down in the middle. No one there to pick up that ball.
Fitzpatrick puts some heat on it. It's coming up. Lunch in the middle. There's nothing a middle blocker likes more. Jayla Auguste with the kill.
And that play set up by the tough topspin serve from number 0, AC Fitzpatrick.
Holly, I think this should be a stat, and I'm not joking, that when you force the overpass as a server, I need a new stat in the NCAA because it is setting up a kill.
How about SW, service winner?
I love it. Middle. What's been so hard about the middles for Georgia Tech in terms of Florida's defense?
Well, for Deandra Pierce, number 1 for Georgia Tech, she hits with such nice range, but she's using the entire court. She's gone to both deep corners, and that's tough to defend.
Mary Wise from Florida has put in a defensive specialist in Canaan as AC Fitzpatrick came out. Tight ball. And just landed, Suarez did, under the center line. That's a violation. You cannot go under the center line.
No, it's dangerous, obviously, trying to protect the athletes. And Eloisa Suarez, the setter for Georgia Tech, trying to save that tight ball, crosses that line.
Erin Engel serving. A grad student for Florida with a lethal serve. I love that. And Engel did exactly what she needed to do. She got Georgia out of their offensive system. And this is something that Mary Wise saw in her very first collegiate serve for Florida.
In the line-to-line serve has been very effective. And then Amaya Thomas just cleans things up with a block in the middle.
Erin Engel started her career at Florida with an ace. Delivers another one here. She had 3 against Ohio State. Big server.
And make that another one. Add to it. But service is such an important part of this game, and Florida needs it to spark a comeback.
Back errors than Florida, and that leads to great numbers.
Georgia Tech relies on their pins. Tamara Otene, 3 kills, Bianca Bertolino 4. Larissa Mendez is the third part of that kind of 3-headed monster for Georgia Tech. She's off to a little bit of a slow start with only 1 kill.
Yeah, and they've been running Pierce in the middle, as we've talked about. 3 kills out of the middle as well, so a beautiful offense. Meanwhile, for Florida, Erin Engel will continue to serve. Her mom played at Florida. She's just got great serve after great serve. What a set to turn that around for the Yellow Jackets.
Incredible. Suarez able to put up a hittable ball for Bertolino, who sees a hole between the 2 blockers and just throws it down quickly.
Passes up and off. Everybody knew Parks was going to go there most likely, the short string, shorter distance. Georgia Tech having great success going against the right side block of Florida.
Bianca Bertolino, she's got all the tools. She's an experienced attacker on the left side, and she's just attacking the freshman, Taylor Parks, who's on that right side front row for Florida.
Parks listed at 5 feet 11 inches. Outside, Martin shutting down the throw. And again, this, you talked about earlier, is where the 6-2 offense helps. You've got big blockers.
Leah Harper, number 12. We talked about her earlier. She's there, disciplined, sets up that block, so Florida has nowhere to go.
Trouble pass. Parker makes the most of it. And Martin rewards her with a blistering deep kill.
And I like that swing much better by Isabel Martin. Attack it, especially if the middle block is late to get there, take a rip.
And with Parks rotating back to serve, now you've got Roth. You've got a big right side blocker for Florida that matches. Beautiful dig. It's Canan.
Transition kill, dig by Florida. They need a lot more of those kind of plays to beat Georgia Tech tonight.
One of the things that Mary Wise has said about Parks is the difference between being able to set and run an offense. Those 6 months early admission helps Park running this offense. McKissick sitting right in it to dig it. Can they transition? So this is where the new double contact rule comes into play.
Well, Eloise Suarez was actually in the back row, and she tried to set that ball and it went over. She was off her feet. So that was called a back row attack, Florida ball.
Parks continues to serve. Off the block and out.
I like that swing by Leah Harper. You don't see her take a lot of swings, but managing her offense really well, going off the outside hands of the block on that wide set.
Emiliano serving, Mendez on the right side for the Yellow Jackets.
Textbook side out for Florida, putting that ball right in Taylor Park's hands where she can run a high percentage attack out of the middle to Amaya Thomas.
Georgia Tech led by as many as 7 in this set. We're going to see if it's too big a gap because Florida has fought back to within 3. But their move needs to be made now. And it's just too hot with Bertolino hitting from the right.
Well, if you look at the offensive numbers for Georgia Tech, they're up in the 500s. Those are extremely good numbers. I mean, anything over 300 is good. They're at 542 right now, so Florida needs to make stops.
Yep, you can compare a hitting percentage to a batting average. Anything above 300 is good. They're at...
Haven't seen anything from the service line, dials up an ace.
Says, watch this. Another nice serve, pulls Florida out of their offensive system. It has to go outside, and AC Fitzpatrick attacks the high hands.
And Florida out of system, that's a tough swing to take against Georgia Tech's big block, but AC Fitzpatrick, she's got experience, goes flat off high hands.
That meaning the hands of the block above the top knuckle. Hard to recover from. Ellie McKissick serving. Great serve. Oh, and there was a net violation against Florida to end the first, to put the first set right at set point now. Florida has to win every point, Holly, from here on out, be perfect in order to capture this set. And a serve does it again. The tough serving this time, Liv Morridge.
Georgia Tech came out on fire. Their offensive.
Taylor Parks will begin serving for Florida. Gets Velez uncomfortable.
Bianca Bertolino has been really good with the soft touch right over the block. I would love to see the blocker just reach and pick that up if the defense is supposed to be deep in the court. And that's eye work, watching the hitter.
Better pass to the middle and bombed. When you talk about eye work, it's something that Florida has been working on a lot, especially with their assistant, Dave Booz.
Dave Booz is the professor of eye sequencing and how to study it and how to learn it. And from day one, when you step in the Florida gym, that's something that you focus on. And it's how you watch and read the game. And it's a really important part of the game that not enough people talk about.
The middle outside and a hammer. When we go back to eye sequencing, though, it's about more than watching the ball. Eye sequencing is about watching what?
Well, the location of the ball, your hitter, reading the hitter's body, reading the angle, reading the hand. I mean, there's so many things that you can look at. And there you see Dave Booz. He's a pillar on the bench for this Florida team.
An attack out of the middle again. Liv Mobridge having a really nice match as well.
I'd love to see Florida get Georgia Tech in some passing trouble.
A nice pass, but the attack was a little slow because of the connection. And Georgia Tech capitalizes.
Larissa Mendez, we talked about her having a little bit of a slow start. She was all part of the all-conference freshman team last year, had a huge freshman season on the right side, but so far a little bit of a quiet night.
Well, and Michelle Collier saying, look, she's been scouted this year. Your freshman year, nobody knows. Her sophomore year, they read everything. That ball's on the line.
Alec Roth has shown some really nice potential on the right side. We talked about her being a middle blocker. Look at her go deep over the defender's head to the corner. Beautiful attack from the right side when Florida's in system.
Tough serve. Florida takes the lead. You talked about them, what did you say a minute ago?
Yep.
Serve them tough.
And Ellie McKissick, she knows how to lead this team. She's one of the most experienced players in college volleyball, and she's going line to line, getting Georgia Tech in some trouble.
Through the block and down.
Larissa Mendez again, 2 kills so far in this second set, making a difference, getting her feet under.
And we return again to the 6-2 offense, utilizing 2 setters. And so Eloise Suarez entered the floor, as did Leah Harper, who's right side attacking. Provides a nice big block.
Trinity Adams for Florida has one of the best fleeing serves, flat and clean. It has almost no movement, and the bottom drops out. It's really a hard ball to pass.
Sharp, beautiful dig. That's McKissick getting underneath it. And this time it's AC Fitzpatrick going through the Yellow Jackets block.
And Georgia Tech needs to be a little bit more disciplined with their block. This is a fast push ball to AC Fitzpatrick on the left side. And Georgia Tech has plenty of time to get disciplined, but their hands need to be on their opponent's side of the net.
Back it goes. Look at the acceleration from Tamara Otene as she attacks that ball.
The location of that ball was inside, but Otene does a really nice job getting her feet there and hammering it.
And the reason we're pointing it out is because she's a right-handed attacker, and it's hard when you're on the right side. It tends to be the place where lefties gets paced.
Tamara Otene with a cross-court ace. I love the location. Sharp cross-court, dropping right at that 3-meter line. That's a tough ball to pass.
Tough ball, right into the hands. And again, Fitzpatrick delivering consistently.
Did you hear the sound of that swing?
Yes.
AC Fitzpatrick, just a cannon of an arm right here. Watch this ball. Good set by Taylor Parks and a quick ball, AC Fitzpatrick. Listen here. Boom.
I think it was a kaboom, right?
Okay.
No, I'm just saying it was huge.
I like it.
Outside. Georgia Tech has been able to run their offense with ease. Here's a free ball. They run their middle. Great defense. And again, it's Fitzpatrick who's making a heck of a difference in all aspects. Outside quick. And it's just about the way that Georgia Tech gets on that ball quickly.
Georgia Tech beats you with speed. Even if the ball location isn't perfect, last step close to the ball. They get on it before the Florida block can get their feet set and press.
Velez over 1,500 career digs. Serve. The ball off hands, but read very calmly. And then you got a one-on-one situation.
Beautiful isolation set by Eloise Suarez, number 13 for Georgia Tech. And then Bianca Bertolini, you see the hand contact. She just goes wrist away, getting a lot of spin on that ball.
What's an isolation set?
Well, when you're isolating your hitter one-on-one, that's advantage hitter, and that's a setter's goal.
And how do you get there, though?
Well, by disguising what you're doing.
So the middle blocker went the other way. This time, 2 blockers on, no problem for Bertolino.
But again, it's a fastball to the pin, which doesn't allow Florida's block to get there and put up a nice solid block.
Velez is continuing to serve. It's been a 3-0 scoring run for the Yellow Jackets. Talk to me about the tempo, because it feels like there's a lot soft coming from the right side.
Well, Jayla August is a new player in the sport. She just picked up volleyball in high school. She's a high jumper, so she's just catching up with that ball, and she sees that opening in the middle, continues to throw it down until Georgia Tech takes it away.
Erin Engel. And just outside, strong set. And Bertolino looks smooth as can be.
And you have to credit the setter for pushing the ball quick out to the antenna, setting up the line attack. Doesn't allow the Florida defense to get set.
The credit Suarez with that, and now Emiliano comes in. She's nearing 4,000 career sets. The experience she has is outstanding. Shut down, nice cover. Can you do it again? It's a big block, way to change the pace. And then Bertolino.
You can hear the coaching staff for Georgia Tech saying no back row. This is a rotation for Florida. Taylor Parks, the freshman setter, is in the front row. You've got Amaya Thomas and Isabel Martin. They have to get out of this rotation, but they only have 2 hitters. So look for the setter to possibly attack if it's a good pass.
Bertolino going down the line, beautiful dig. And going at hands with a nice strong swing.
And it wasn't easy, but Florida able to get out of that rotation. Isabel Martin went high and hard off the block.
And this is where the 5-1 comes into play. You're saying there's only 2 attackers because the setter is up front as well.
Correct, but most teams have a hitter out of the back row. Florida just likes to use some defensive specialists in the back court, and then they're without a back row attack.
Longest rally we have seen so far, and messiest. Now in Sista. Patience pays off. Mogridge with the kill.
Liv Mogridge getting up in transition, number 0. She's got a huge arm, and Georgia Tech likes to use her when they can.
I didn't see who passed the ball, but that's the real hero in that rally. Slowed it down.
Georgia Tech staff kept talking about next play mentality. This is a team that plays well when they're ahead, but when they get pushed or fall behind, that's when things can start to fall apart.
Perfect pass by Velez. Set up.
Georgia Tech in system off of Velez, the first-year libero for Georgia Tech.
Deandra Pierce in the front court, in the middle. We saw her active early in the first set. See if they get her going again here. To the right side, 2 big blockers turned it in. This is going to be a poke. Ball is Florida's ball. Michelle Collier thought about challenging the play.
She looked down the bench. Did anybody see a touch? And a bunch of heads nodding right in the negative.
She looked, her hand was stretched out almost at that card.
But I agree, I didn't see a touch.
Back again, and this is where we talked about side out percentage. They just look so smooth. When they receive a ball, they kill.
And that's a rotation for Georgia Tech, where they've got Otene on the left, they've got Larissa Mendez on the right, and Deandra Pierce in the middle. Those are three offensive weapons, and that really stresses the block for Florida.
And an ace serve by Georgia Tech. They lead by 4 midway through set number 2.
What's that? It's electric.
It isn't electric.
This week on Sunday Night Baseball, the Braves fight for a wild card spot as they host the National League West leading Dodgers. Coverage begins at 6 p.m. Eastern on ESPN with baseball tonight, Sunday Night Countdown. Midway through set number 2, Georgia Tech won set number 1, and then it has been Bianca Bertolino who has been indefensible.
Bianca Bertolino, 13 kills compared to the rest of her team with 16, and hitting for an incredible percentage, 667. So that's 13 kills on 18 attempts, only 1 error, and she's also got a service ace.
Pass is good, and when the pass is good, they can get up and attack. Beautiful dig. And with that kill, Georgia Tech goes up 16-11.
Florida passing the ball better, able to get some good swings, but Georgia Tech is just swarming defensively.
It has again been Bertolino defensively doing the work too. It's just getting that ball over. It's a tough ball, then back again.
I talked about it. It's relentless defense for Florida, and I've been in this situation. Feels like you can't get the ball down because Georgia Tech is touching everything. Defensive touch on a hammer, and then the scramble play, and they're able to score, and then an unforced error from Florida.
Well, it feels like they're digging everything because they are digging everything. As Georgia Tech, 4 digs in this set to Florida's 5.
I love seeing Ellie McKissick talking to the Florida bench. You see the passion, telling her team what they need to do. She's been there. And then you see the Georgia Tech bench led by their Brazilian coaches, Michelle Collier and Claudio Pinheiro.
Taking a look at the bigger picture, the top 10 in volleyball, it has been a wild ride. Pitt moved into first place after Texas suffered a loss.
And Pitt has been really impressive. They return a lot of their players from last year. They've been in the national semifinals the last couple of years. Stanford, even though they lost some firepower in Kendall Kipp and Katie Baird and McKenna Vicini, they are back, and Cami Minor's leading them. Penn State's been really impressive. They got some transfers, but they got a very talented freshman setter in Izzy Stark.
It's unbelievable. Penn State's not unbelievable. They're a very talented team. Swept Kentucky the other day. They're knocking down one ranked team after another.
And then you see teams like Nebraska and Texas, they faltered a little bit with some surprising losses early, but there's a lot of season to go, and all these teams are learning about themselves.
Score here is 17-11, and Georgia Tech on an 11-4 run because Florida was leading 7-6. This is what we saw also in the first set, Holly. It was a big run in the middle of the set, and by the time Florida starts to get it going, it's just too late. Overpass. Great job by Park, standing block because she's backcourt, can't jump. Little ball. And that's so frustrating when you turn around as a blocker and everybody's looking at you and you're like, where is it?
You got to yell up. You got to call their attention to it.
Look up.
Florida in a rotation with pretty good sized block at the net and Trinity Adams on the line.
Yeah, but now Parks has rotated up front for Florida. And again, it comes back to that same idea that you have, although they do have Isabel Martin in the backcourt right now. See if they use her as another attack option. Pass from Velez in the hands. Great dig. Fitzpatrick, did she get a touch? She did. She brought that arm back and wrapped it.
Huge transition swing, and she brings the heat. That ball is not coming back.
Well, that's the thing, right? When you touch hands, it goes far. When you touch hands with a shotgun or a bazooka like that, it's in the stands. Trying to turn it back with some pace is Leah Harper, and that ball's out. Michelle Collier calls a timeout.
Florida catching a little momentum, and Georgia Tech does not want to see any of it after a three-point run. Saturday,
UFC 306 is highlighted by 2 title fights. Sean O'Malley defends his bantamweight belt, and Mexico's Alexa Glash PPV. So here's the mini run from Florida, 3 consecutive points, as you just mentioned. We saw this at the same point in set number 1. What's critical for Florida as they come out of this timeout?
Stops, right? They need stops, and it starts with a tough serve. Get Georgia Tech uncomfortable so they can't run that high percentage play, giving your block a little bit more time to close, see where they're going, and you saw them go on a 3-point run, so they know they can do it.
Well, and this is where you're seeing the youth of Florida against the veteran experience of Georgia Tech, and it simply shows up in the average career sets played.
Huge difference. I mean, there's 12 returning players from the Sweet 16 for Georgia Tech last year, and then you've got all sorts of new faces on the floor for Florida, and some players who've been on the team but didn't play, and so this is their first time really contributing on the court.
All right, 85 more sets collectively by Georgia Tech, including going further in the NCAA tournament last year. The elevation, we've been talking about it, but the elevation from Leah Harper is impressive as well.
And that's an area of Leah Harper's game. You'll see number 12 on the left side of your screen. She lines up as a right side attacker that's really improved. She's known as a very strong blocker, but getting some nice offensive attempts here.
Georgia Tech getting under everything defensively, send it back, and again.
How about the athleticism at the net? That ball was sitting on top of the net. Jayla August, number 4, just gets up and throws it down. Like a slam dunk.
She spent some time with the USA team winning a gold medal for U19, helping her prepare for college. And that's it, letting your foot off the gas.
But AC Fitzpatrick, that's what she does. She can take her team on long scoring runs, so she doesn't want to let up, and trying to bring the pressure, just missing it long. This is the tough rotation. No back row attacks, setters front row. Only 2 hitters in the front for Florida.
And I love the play.
It starts with a good pass. When you're able to run that quick offense behind, especially to number 4 in blue, good things happen.
And that was tough too, because that ball went to the back corner behind Parks's head. We call it zone 1. She had to turn and make that set. Picked up. Presence of mind by Mogridge to go to the open space.
Sometimes those overpasses are tricky. Everybody's waiting. If you don't get your feet there, you can either get blocked, hit it out, but that time she got her feet under her and goes to the deep corner. Really well done by Mogridge, number 0.
I think the other thing that's tricky about that is that your ego can come into play, right? Like you got an open net, this and that. She's very calmly says, everybody's over here, so I'm gonna go the other way. Strong serve down the line.
Luana Milano goes straight down that line. We've seen a lot of line-to-line serving, and Georgia Tech now up 21-16. Florida wants a timeout. Offensive numbers for Georgia Tech still very high in this match, hitting .491 as a team. Those are blistering numbers, but Florida's aren't bad. They're hitting .345, so they're above 300. They just haven't been able to stop Georgia Tech enough.
Right, and in this set, Florida's numbers are even higher than that. They only have 1 attack error and 11 kills, but Georgia Tech has only 2 attack errors and 5 more kills.
It's interesting to watch the difference between the two benches. For Florida, it's very player-led. Players standing up, they're talking to one another because they're the ones out on the court that have to make it happen. The coaches have a conference, the players have a conference, then they meet up. For Georgia Tech, it's very driven by the coaches. Now you see Mary Wise give some technical feedback.
Mary Wise in her 34th season as head coach of this program, one of the most decorated coaches in all of collegiate volleyball.
She's as passionate about volleyball as she's ever been, and she loves these young athletes and helping them grow every day.
Yeah, and she has pointed out that her players are true multi-sport athletes. Amaya Thomas, for example, in addition to volleyball, completed in track, basketball, tennis, cheer. And then you're looking at Mary Wise, 3-time AVCA National Coach of the Year.
And taken her team to the national final for the NCAA title twice.
Just looking to get over the hump. Only Danny Busboom Kelly has won, as a female, has won a national championship.
With the block, but to follow up that comment, Danny Busboom Kelly has taken her team Louisville to the national finals, but did not win.
Oh, there you go, you're right.
Look at the big block on the right. Larissa Mendez up and over, shutting down the Florida attack.
Tough serve down the line. First time we've seen Parks call her own number attacking. And that's Amaya Thomas.
I like that adjustment by Amaya Thomas. She has just barely been missing blocks. This time she's up and over on the opponent's side of the net, and that is the key to her success defensively.
We're talking about track, basketball, tennis, cheer, and ballet for Thomas. And an opportunity for Georgia Tech as the score 23-17. They're poised to go up 2-0 at the break. Bertolino, cannon of a serve. And composure from Florida.
Florida gets out of some serious trouble there. Isabel Martin goes deep down that line with a two-handed attack.
As Canan, the defensive specialist, exits the floor, AC Fitzpatrick comes back in, up front. This pass as they try to go for the outside hitter, and a missed opportunity. It's a free ball for Georgia Tech, and a shutdown from the freshman Roth.
Alec Roth did a really nice job watching that play develop. Otene has not come inside very often, but look at Roth, number 25. She sees her hitter coming inside and just puts up a wall. Nowhere for Otene of Georgia Tech to go.
Serve goes the other way this time. And a beautiful attack.
And the speed of Georgia Tech's offense really stresses the Florida block. The middle blockers late to get there, and then Mendez, number 11, takes advantage.
And it's Bertolino on the pass. She's tied for the lead with this team on digs. She's leading by a margin in attack. Dropped a little ball, beautiful up. Bertolino sets. Ultimate hits off head and then bounces it on the floor. And Georgia Tech wins set number 2, both sets, 25-19. Hopefully for ACC play, there she is with her red hair. What are you seeing, Holly?
I'm seeing Florida start in the rotation where they struggle. Setter is front row, but they kept Isabel Martin in the back row as an attack option. So hitters are stacked on the left side. You've got Jayla Auguste and AC Fitzpatrick, as well as Taylor Parks in the front row.
Ellie McKissick passes. You see the high jumper behind in Auguste. And then Fitzpatrick outside the block with heat.
And credit Taylor Parks, the freshman setter, for pushing that ball wide enough for AC Fitzpatrick to go outside the block. Fantastic arm speed by number 0 in blue.
There's the line to line, this time serving. Area 1 straight down the line. We talked about zones. Fitzpatrick, triple block, and it goes to the center of the net.
One of the skills you hear coaches talk about often is transition setting. When your setter is not setting, all the players around have to be able to put up a hittable ball, and you want to see that ball a little wider, a little tighter to the net, so AC Fitzpatrick has more options.
The only option here is outside off of that pass. Triple block, and Fitzpatrick blows past it.
First of all, it's hard when you're out of system. You don't have an ideal pass, but look at everybody on the court knows this ball has to go to AC Fitzpatrick because the pass wasn't ideal. Look at Georgia Tech's block roll. It was a triple block, not easy, but Fitzpatrick found a way.
A lot of times facing a triple block can get in your head because you see that she went after it. Liv Mogridge having a really nice match. She's serving. Fitzpatrick again. Fitzpatrick's kind of making magic over there because none of the passing has been on point yet for Florida.
No, but she's finding a way, and that's the leadership that she brings back to this Florida team. They need her so much this year, and she's finding ways to score. We saw her crush one down the line, but she's used finesse, power, you name it, working some magic, like you said.
That's the good news. The bad news, perhaps, is that she's now in the backcourt and serving. But you've got Martin up front. Goes through the block, but slows it down enough. It did touch the block. That was the question people were going to ask, and now it's Georgia Tech that's scrambling. Martin doing a beautiful job blocking. This time she's all alone, and McKissick sets it up for her. How many times did Martin touch the ball in that rally? Wow.
I mean, incredible defense. I felt like Georgia Tech was touching everything. But that time, Martin able to score, number 17 in blue. Little sharp angle swing to end the long rally. Florida needs a lot more of those.
Mary Wise has said her goal is to play professionally, and she's a veteran player with a mindset.
Georgia Tech is challenging a net fault on the setter.
So Georgia Tech is challenging a net fault on the setter. This is part of our challenge review system where second referee Betsy Smith is going to take a look at the replays and make a decision with the challenge referee.
Looking for somebody in the net.
Yeah, but I thought they said on the setter, so I think it's a little earlier than that. We will patiently watch it along with you. What are you seeing, Holly?
I feel like the ball clips the top of the tape. I don't
Yeah.
see Isabel Martin making contact. That side angle looks a little bit closer.
Yeah, but it's deceptive, right, from the side angle, because it's 6 inches away from her arms.
But when that ball hits the tape, it looks like it might touch her.
It bends in, perhaps.
It has to be definitive to be overturned, though.
Call confirmed, point Florida.
So the call is confirmed, and Florida gets the point. That's the original call that the officials made, so they're saying there was not a net. AC Fitzpatrick serving for Florida, and Alec Roth up front and on the right. Back again. Larissa Mendez.
Larissa Mendez from the right side. She had a little bit of a slow start in the first set, but really heating up, showing you her offensive range. She hit that inside the 3-meter line.
Well, and we talked a lot about that 6-2 offense for Georgia Tech, because they have 2 different right side hitters, and between the 2 of them, they've got a combined 9 kills, only 1 error on 21 swings. So
those are really strong offensive numbers, and that allows the 2 setters to play only in the backcourt, and they can always have a big blocker on the right side.
Canan came in for Florida, again a steadying passer. Isabel Martin elevates, off hands, handled well by Bertolino. Makes the blockers work with a set behind. And Thomas up and over for the shutdown.
Amaya Thomas saw where that ball was going, gets on her opponent's side of the net, and it goes straight down. Beautiful handwork and eye work to close that block to her teammate, Isabel Martin.
In each of the 3 sets, the score has been like this, a seesaw back and forth early on before Georgia Tech has pulled away. McKissick behind the service line. Back again. And Alec Roth. Doug. This falls short in the break for Florida.
Georgia Tech, instead of swinging at that ball, Leah Harper tries to tip, falling short, and Florida able to score.
Yeah, and I see why she tried to tip. Georgia Tech has scored several times, catching Florida on their heels. Leandra Pierce, they want to get her involved, I'm sure, again. She was heavily involved in the first set. Back again, off hands and just out of reach. And that's why you attack the highest part of the block.
Tamara Otene, she's got all the tools. Her coach talked about her. She's like, you know what? We could go tap dancing and she would be amazing.
Yep.
Whatever we do, she's special. She just knows how to figure things out and succeed, and she's just getting better and better with her offensive tools.
Oh, that's about as big a throw as you will find, and the officials are not having it, calling a lift.
I love that set by Taylor Parks, the freshman setter. She had all the blockers up in the air and on their way down, but Isabel Martin just held that ball too much on her offensive throwdown.
One quick add about Otene is that she was the one who had the last couple of kills in that NCAA second round victory, and Michelle Collier said she had an average game, didn't even have good numbers until the 5th set. Gamer.
When Florida uses their middles, good things happen. Offensively, Auguste, number 4, has been a bright spot, but they need to get her more involved. I mean, why not?
I agree.
She's second in kills. She's got 7 kills off 10 swings, 0 errors.
It's actually gone up now to 8 kills for her. And 2 digs for us.
Beautiful, sharp cross-court kill inside the block. Bianca Bertolino delivers a nice pass. Eloise Suarez, beautiful ball to the left pin.
McKissick puts this right on the setter. And it's a perfect, smooth Florida play.
Taylor Parks putting up a really nice ball to the pin. Look at the middle block for Georgia Tech late because of this disguise from the setter. Good isolation to the left pin, and it pays off for Florida.
Yeah, and it all started with a perfect pass. They've struggled a bit. McKissick, beautiful dig underneath it from the backcourt. Fitzpatrick, unbelievable, great court awareness.
2 veterans for Florida making a big play, starting with the dig by McKissick, and then AC Fitzpatrick finding open court.
I thought that was going to head out. She reached so high over. There's the veteran McKissick. Yeah, Parks waited till the ball crossed the net to attack it.
Eloise Suarez, the setter, checking to see all her fingers.
Just taking a second, just having a quick moment to talk to Collier. And that's what's tough when you're attacking that ball and the setter's got their hand up there. Remembering she's backcourt, she couldn't go up to block.
But defensively, instinctually, you have your hands up.
Uh-oh.
Not good when you're a setter. You need all those fingers.
Yeah, you can't bend that. Let's take a closer look.
Tight pass, Eloise Suarez going up to save it and out.
Oh. Yeah, so she's trying to capture it before it goes, but was not able to, and so
Georgia
now
Tech,
we got a new setter in.
Well, now they go to a 5-1.
Yep.
This is something they've been running. I told you about the flexibility at the beginning of this match. Luana Milano will run the 5-1, so they have 2 hitters on the left side, an attacker in the back row, and Larissa Mendez.
And Emiliano stands 5'7", so let's see if Florida tries to attack her as a smaller blocker. Outside, again, where Emiliano is.
And heads-up play by Florida, attacking the right back defender, a hitter who's not usually playing defense unless they're running a 5-1, and that's Larissa Mendez.
It's a 4-0 scoring run for Florida to break this open after it was tied at 7-all. Emiliano still front court, AC Fitzpatrick against her for Florida. But if you don't get the opportunity to get the dig, doesn't matter.
And what a gift to have Larissa Mendez in the back row when you're that front row setter. Another option offensively.
Now Suarez moves to the back court, and Georgia Tech again has 3 big hitters, but Florida's setter is front court. Back again, Fitzpatrick tries a little tenderness with the first one and misses long and wide on the second.
AC Fitzpatrick trying to crush that ball down the line, just doesn't get on top of it. Tells her setter good set, next play. But this is the tough rotation for Florida when Parks is in the front row.
Oh, wow, you saw the elevation there of our high jumper. And Parks calls her own number.
You need to do that when you're a front row setter. Keep the block honest, and the blocker was only looking for the middle attacker, not ready for the throwdown by Parks.
Use it sparingly when you're a setter. Over the top, picked up but not controlled. And turning it back from the middle is Mogridge.
The little tip over the block, even though it didn't get down, Florida gave back a free ball and Georgia Tech takes advantage.
Yeah, Florida has had trouble containing those tips. Perfect pass. And just put away by Otene.
And it's that fastball in transition to Tamara Otene, number 9 on that left pin. Her arm is so fast. If you're not disciplined with your block, you're playing catch up. Here's the transition set. You see Milano push that ball, and both blockers, even it looks like they're there, but they're not on the other side of the net pressing their hands over.
Hard serve, better pass. There's a disciplined blocker, you're talking about it. Fitzpatrick will swing.
AC Fitzpatrick just cuffs that one sharp and down. She's had to take some tough swings tonight. That one's way off the net. You see her get behind it, reach, and the hand contact is what makes that one drop.
My favorite part of that whole play, they blocked Fitzpatrick and Thomas, and then she elbows Thomas to say, go the other way, knowing the set was going that way. That's part of that eye sequencing and eye work that you talked about earlier. Picked up, uh-oh, that's a hard ball. Well played by Georgia Tech. McKissick reading that. Uh-oh, somebody was in the net. And it was Florida.
Bodies flying everywhere, and you got to worry about those tight sets. Otene has had a couple where she's had to tippy-toe on that center line.
Mary Wise having a talk with second official Betsy Smith. I think she's talking about some of the throws perhaps or contacts in that. And an ace serve. Great play on top of break.
Viv Mogridge going between the two passers, and now they're going to slide a 3 players in serve receive. So they are covering the whole court. So the seams between the two passers can be vulnerable.
Fitzpatrick breaks the tie. Florida led by as many as 4. Tough serve. Wow, that's the way to make something of it. Gutsy swing.
Incredible, and Bertolino just such an asset to have in the backcourt. Another weapon stressing the defense on the Florida side of the net.
Parks puts up a nice hittable ball, and Martin eats it up.
We talked about the special freshman Taylor Parks. Look at her run down this ball. Beautiful bump set for the Florida point, 15-14.
We've never spoken.
Unfortunate.
So as you pointed out, both teams now running a one-setter offense called a 5-1. Back set. It's long. No touch. Florida point.
DeAndre Pierce trying to get on top of that ball, misses it long, but she was red hot early in this match, and I feel like Georgia Tech went away from her going a little bit more pin heavy.
Yeah, why would you? Bertolino with tying her season high in kills at 15. Otene wants hers too.
And that, we talked about the sound earlier. When somebody really gets a hold of a ball, it makes a big booming sound. And Otene gets on top of this one fast from the left pin.
Martin gets it back. And I'm curious about the connection, like what was expected and what was done there. I know we can't get inside their heads.
Well, I think Isabel Martin just trying to get to that tight ball and tool the block. I feel like the ball, the set location could be a little bit wider.
Adams entering now for Florida to serve. Just a 1-point lead in a must-win set. Georgia Tech won the first 2 sets, 25-19.
Georgia Tech front row setter, 2 hitters in the front row, but they've got Mendez in the back row as an option.
Well, and you want to see if they exploit the smaller setter, which they do, going at Martin, and she takes straight advantage of it.
And that's one of the reasons why Georgia Tech runs that 6-2 with the big right side blocker, because Emiliano at 5'7" is a much smaller block than someone who's 6'2".
Yeah, and so it's a smart move by Mary Wise. It was, of course, instant recognition. It's something we talked about as soon as she comes in. What other options does Georgia Tech have with the smaller setter, Emiliano, up front?
Well, you have to change the defense. You play behind a small blocker. You have to scoot up a little bit more in the court and prepare for them to attack that small blocker.
And then AC Fitzpatrick has been doing terrific work. 12 kills, only 3 errors, hitting .429.
And we talked about earlier, she's taken some really tough swings. I love hearing about her story. AC Fitzpatrick grew up on a ranch. She hangs out with the guys. She's a great fisher woman. She was in a fishing competition this summer.
Yep.
And it was a 2-day fishing competition. She was the only woman. She was with her boyfriend on a boat. And you win $15,000 if you catch the biggest fish. She caught the biggest fish by far, but somehow
in day one.
Yes. And somehow in day 2, someone managed to beat her by like .2, and they never saw the fish. It was a mysterious win.
They never saw the fish.
She was pretty disappointed.
You know, the fish was this big.
Yeah, exactly, that story. So it's a mystery, but that just says a lot about AC Fitzpatrick. She's a tough cookie, and she was pretty disappointed though, but she sent her team a picture of the photo, and it was a pretty darn big fish.
It also says something about her strength, right? You got to reel that sucker in. She had 7 kills in this set. She has 12 in the entire match, so 5 before the first 2 sets, 5 through the first 2 sets, and then 7 in this one. Adams continuing to serve. Goes line to line, as you talked about earlier. Woo, what a ripper. Larissa Mendez, say my name.
Yeah, and Larissa Mendez out of the back court. This is the asset of having a big player in the back row instead of 3 defensive specialists. Another weapon, and you see the Florida blockers were cheating to the outside because they didn't expect that set.
Outside off hands, McKissick reads it beautifully, and now it's a joust. Nobody touched the net. Man puts that ball in the hands of Parks. Georgia Tech keeps it coming. They need a big block. Whoa, but they got a big dig instead. And it's the tip that puts the nail in the coffin for Florida again.
When we talk to the head coach for Georgia Tech, let's watch this rally first. McKissick flying dig to keep it alive for Florida, but look at the bodies flying. The backcourt defense of Georgia Tech has been phenomenal.
Well, this is the 10th tie in this set, 18 apiece. And Holly, we saw a tip again. We talked about zones earlier. It was to zone 2, right over the back of that block. They've had success there.
Well, first of all, it's the relentless defense staying in the rally by Georgia Tech, and the coaching staff talked about it. They said, look, our backcourt defense is really good. Our blocking is trying to catch up, but it's the decision in transition to go short over the block when everybody is on their heels, and it pays off.
Georgia Tech's attackers, it's so spread out. Look at them all over above 350, incredible.
And we talked about those 3 pin hitters who are so good for Georgia Tech. But then if you look at the middles, Mogridge, 4 kills, 7 attempts, DeAndre Pierce 3. I think they can even get their middles involved more, and then they'll have a 5-headed monster, and that will make them the most dangerous.
Incredible. Bertolino with a double-double, 16 kills, a new season high for her. She had 15 versus UCLA early in the season, and then 12 digs by Bianca Bertolino.
This is the closest Florida's been in any of the sets late in a set. So they've been able to keep it close, and it's just making some stops, serving Georgia Tech, and then keying in on this 5-1 offense, making some adjustments, and not cheating on Larissa Mendez when she's in the back row.
I think this is really where you see youth versus experience, too. We talked about that earlier. 85 more sets played collectively by Georgia Tech. And Georgia Tech bringing in Laura Fisher, number 18. Off the block and down.
It was a gamble by Georgia Tech. They took a setter off the floor to make that stop. And they go right back at their setter, Luana Emiliano, number 8 for Georgia Tech, back in for the side out.
It's almost like the 2 libero system. You come in and you come out. She's in to run the offense, Emiliano. But the trick in putting Fisher in, as you mentioned, up front was, if Georgia Tech had run that ball, probably it was Velez who was tasked to set it with Emiliano off it.
Correct. And that's something they practice.
Ace serve by Suarez.
I've been really impressed with Georgia Tech, the pace with which they serve, and really nice location.
Emiliano, excuse me, and with her in the backcourt right now, this set could finish out with her in the backcourt. Well, that same serve straight down the line. Missed connection, picked up. They go right back to that tip over the block, this time picked up. Florida behind. And it trickles, everybody waits in anticipation, falls in.
Jayla August made 2 very athletic plays. The first one, her hang time, saved that set. They were out of rhythm, she and the setter, Parks, but she was able to score in that last swing, just using her length and athleticism.
Georgia Tech takes the lead with 4 points to go. This is a critical moment in the game, and they've got Bianca Bertolino behind the service line. McKissick, dime pass, just perfect. Cannon of an arm, but it's coming down. Too hot to handle. Mogridge with a kill.
Florida handled that pass well, but Georgia Tech responded with a really strong defensive stop.
some moisture on the court. And Florida and Mary Wise will take a timeout. Here's our Saturday SEC on ABC college football triple header. Number 16, LSU squares off against South Carolina at noon Eastern, followed by Texas A&M and Florida in the Swamp. And then at 7:30, number 1 Georgia takes on Kentucky. Full slate of SEC football on the ABC college football triple header. More volleyball coming up when we're done here. Houston and Texas will follow this match, and that's going to be an interesting one as well. Houston having a nice start to their year. They're 3-1 overall. They got a win over Washington State.
And Texas has some new puzzle pieces that they're trying to work in. A new setter running the offense, at least for now. Reagan Rutherford, a transfer from Kentucky on the right side. So new, interesting look for Texas, but they're still trying to figure things out.
This is Florida's first ranked opponent of the season in Georgia Tech. Of course, Georgia Tech, their second ranked opponent. They were able to beat BYU. This is the woman that's getting it done. An offensive scheme switched in the middle of the match due to injury. Fans are excited on the flats. 22-20, Georgia Tech on the precipice. Through the middle. Pound town from Thomas.
Are you kidding me? That was beautiful, and Amaya Thomas is back. Florida wasn't passing well enough to run her more, but man, she's got a big arm and gets up and crushes it.
And with that, Parks is backcourt setter. They got 3 big hitters up front. Was that ball over? It was touched. Point, Yellow Jackets.
Stacked on the left for Florida.
Liv Mogridge serves right into their path. Free ball to Florida. They put it back to that 2 zone behind the setter. And the attack by Fitzpatrick hits the antenna. Georgia Tech on the cusp of sweeping Florida.
Georgia Tech made a huge play on a dig by Milano to keep it alive.
Liv Mogridge serving for the sweep. Pass is good outside, AC Fitzpatrick, and they do it on a block. Georgia Tech sweeps Florida for their second consecutive ranked win.
Mary Wise knew that her young team had a big challenge tonight.